this video, I'm going to show you an integration which is designed to help release managers keep track of the progress of the release. This integration involves CDD working together with GitHub, Jenkins, and Agile Central. Using this setup, release managers can see which work items are planned to be delivered in the current release cycle. Moreover, they can look at the progress of the actual work items. They can see which work items enter the release, the work item statuses, and which work items have been completed. This helps release managers to really understand what is being implemented right now, what is the risk of the release, and what the probability is of finishing everything on time. How does this work? Why is this method more efficient than just looking at the status of your work items in Agile Central, which I'll talk about here, or whichever planning tool you use, like Jira? Well, work items are updated by developers manually in Agile Central, but with this integration, we listen to the actual commit messages which the developers trigger when they commit changes to the GitHub repository, and we analyze them. This allows us to understand which work items have had changes that have entered the pipeline, and by that we can determine the work progress. Here in CDD, in this panel to the left of the release pane, is where the work item statuses that I've been talking about are shown. What do these status icons mean? First, if no status icon at all appears for some work items, this means that no updates have been detected for these work items. There are no commits, and there's no indication that they've been accepted in Agile Central. If no progress is indicated for these work items and the release is about to end, the release manager should understand that there is some risk. These work items probably will not be ready in time for the release. The green V sign means that in Agile Central, this work item has been marked as accepted, so we mark it here as accepted as well. These three statuses do not depend on Agile Central, but on the commit messages that I talked about earlier. This icon means that CDD has detected commits on this work item or on something related to it. Maybe it's a task under this user story. A commit has been detected, so CDD marks this work item as in progress. Some changes have entered the pipeline, which means someone is working on this work item, which is good. This warning icon means that there is inconsistency between the fact that a commit has been detected for this work item while the same work item has been marked as accepted in Agile Central. Normally this is not worrying. It probably means that either the developer has not updated the work item status in Agile Central yet, or the developer has entered some tests, but we should still let the release manager know. The question mark icon is the most important one. It means that a commit has been detected for a user story that was not planned for the release. How do we know this? When a CDD user sets up imports of work items, they must specify some filters. These filters correspond to filters in Agile Central. If we look in Agile Central at these exact filters, we get this list. This is what is planned for this release according to what the user specified. We can see that there are 5 work items here. Still, by listening to the repository, we can see that someone committed changes to this user story, even though it was not in the list of user stories for this release. We want to let the release manager know that something has entered the pipeline. Maybe it's not been tested, or it was not planned, and it's important to raise this issue to the release manager. This concludes part 1. In part 2, we'll look at the setup required to activate the planned versus actual integration.